Hello, dear friends at Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more Immortal Messages. Immortal Messages is a program based on the book Psychophonic Instructions, and this book comes to us to open new understanding about our immortality. On earth, we don't have enough instruction about our true life, ourselves, our essence as spirits. We're often in the illusion that the material world is all there is. So when we face death, we think death is a curse, that death is a bad thing. What do you think? Do you think death is a bad thing? How do you behave before death? What are your feelings regarding it? We need to make this assessment because the message today is a page of faith. A page of faith that comes through Chico Xavier in a mediumistic meeting, just like the one you can see on my background here. This picture is copyrighted by Versátil Editora, who put together a beautiful DVD based on these messages that we're reading, which were from a book. Messages that were tape recorded at Chico Xavier's time and immortalized. And we show here in this background picture the beauty of Chico Xavier and all the whole team operating together to produce good works, rescuing suffering spirits and receiving messages from illuminated minds. The experimenter May, Emmanuel, Andrea Lewis, and others come to us to instruct us and educate us. The difference between instruction and education. We are instructed knowledge, but if that inside of us does not promote changes, there's no education, because education is about acquisition of new habits. That's why we say to a kid, oh, she's not well educated, or wow, so well educated, because we directed, right, that instruction to accommodate new habits. What about us? Are these teachings educating us, or are they just being absorbed as new information, instruction, and that's it? Let's meditate. Today, we have a message from Célia Xavier. In the evening of August 19th, 1954, 66 years ago, Célia Xavier came to talk about faith. She used to be a spiritist in the center in Belo Horizonte, and now comes back from the grave, from the beyond, to teach us something. She says, the desperate man cries out in front of the coffin or before the open tomb. Death is a cursing that separates us forever. That individual does not suspect that the loved ones at the forefront of the hereafter continue to evolve between joy and pain, sharing their hopes and anxieties. That desperate person does not realize that he will one day also cross over, distressed and astonished, the portal of dust and ashes to reap what he sowed. However, we today, spiritists, are scouts of the new age, servants of the new light. United we're building the tunnel of the great revelation, by which will be expressed the full and victorious life. We know your struggles closely, your task, and your fatigue. The truth, which once called for the martyrdom of the pioneers of the Christian faith, is now demanding the sacrifice as a rule of triumph. In the old days, it was the external pursuit through blood circuses and cruel fires. Now it is the inner battle with the monsters of the shadow to nestle subtly in our heart, declaring hidden war to our superior idealism. Yesterday, it would have been easier to die at a stroke under the knife of physical flogging. Today, however, it is exceedingly difficult to suffer. Little by little, the assault of darkness, upholding supreme fidelity to the glory of the Spirit. However, we cannot betray the greatness of the mandate entrusted to us. We are workers of renewal and heralds of light, to whom it is incumbent the obligation to kindle it in our own soul, that our world may ascend into heaven to the splendor of the highest heavens. It is necessary not to fear the serpents of the path, nor the ghosts of the night. Our essential program in struggle is self-improvement, so that the world around us may also be perfected. By learning and teaching, let us therefore remember that our tomorrow will be the projection of our present. By choosing the good is the invariable system of our right thought and our conduct. Let us remain united in the crusade against death, striving so that humanity understands that love and justice rule life in the universe, and that work and fraternity are the forces that generate imperishable joy and beauty in eternity. Célia Xavier. Oh, we've heard about these things, not in her way. The way Célia Xavier says it in this message is unique. And it's so in sync with the moment we're living on earth today, 66 years later. Célia Xavier, through Chico Xavier, she comes to empower us. She talks about desperation. That's the first word she uses. The desperate person. The person who is desperate curses what she doesn't understand. Nowadays, many people are cursing the coronavirus. It just makes it worse. Because the coronavirus was created by our own vibrations of evil, of desperation, of violence. It's interesting that they gave the name coronavirus, of course, because it has to do with the anatomy of it all. But it symbolically tells us about what is on the behind the scenes. The crown of selfishness and pride. We're tired of it. I know we are all tired of it, aren't you? Selfishness is so tiresome because we have to constantly defend ourselves, constantly protect ourselves. There's always an enemy around. And pride, it's like Snow White and the woman who was pretty much a witch, right? What was she, stepmother? I don't like to say she's an evil stepmother because there are blessed stepmothers. She was a witch. per se. But she was always in her pride feeling that Snow White didn't do anything bad to her. She was an adversary. And that's how our ego, our pride and selfishness see enemies where they don't exist. It's so life-threatening. And Célia Xavier talks about that. The person who begins to despair when faced with the natural challenges of life or the changes of life. Well, she says here, the person is despaired because that individual ignores that death doesn't exist. That death is not an end. It's just a gateway. A doorway back to our spiritual realm. Right now on earth, many people are cursing the deaths of many people. Of course, we're not going to celebrate. But we're going to understand. And what is to understand? Seek the good. And what is seeking the good? Find the design of God in it. What is the design of God when somebody discarnates? That person reached her graduation. Doesn't need to be here anymore. There's a new moment. But if you stay, we need to do our work because our time is not over. And we see people retiring and thinking, I don't have much to do. No, you have a lot to do, because if you're incarnated, you still have lines in your reincarnatory plan that have not been fulfilled. So this story about old age being a curse, where is the good in it? Oh, but I feel pain. It said, well, let's be at peace with our emotions and let's learn from our illnesses. I'm not saying I want to be sick and I want to get sick. You don't, I don't, and that's healthy. But if we do, go read this book to make peace with it. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. The back of it, there is a list of psychosomatic explanations for everything that happens to us. Everything. So then we can work on it. 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 In whatever part of our body. We're in the school of life to learn. And she says here, for us spiritists, we're scouts of the new age. What does it mean to be a scout? It's not the Boy Scout or Girl Scout, it's Spirit Scout. How interesting is this? Scout means a soldier or a person sent out ahead of a main force. Wow, how beautiful, huh? So as to gather information about, something. So, you are scout of spiritism, Spirit Scout. You know that we know that in the near future, this planet is going to be better than today. We're better today than yesterday, and we'll be better tomorrow than today. You're the scout of this news. sharing with it. And she's going to compare. She's going to say, I know you guys are struggling. She says here, we know your struggles closely, your task and your fatigue. Highlighted. The good spirits know what you're going through, what I am going through, what everybody's going through. They know our tasks and our tiredness, our fatigue, everything. And what do they say to us? They say, oh, you're a victim? No. They say, you need to go to school of life on earth every day and seek the good. Do your lessons, your homework, because one day you'll be back home with your report card saying A+, A+, A+. Oh, Vanessa, I don't think I'm going to get A+. A, B, but not F. Nobody's going to fail. You don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. In some subjects, we'll be better than others, but we still have time. Let's calibrate ourselves. So now she's going to say, you need this, not only for you, because you have a knowledge that minority of people on earth do have. So you need to understand that what you are going through pertains to humanity. What happens to you matters to humanity. Think about the Mr. and Mrs. Piracio, who brought Chico Xavier into Spiritism. Probably you've never heard of this name before, right? Mr. and Mrs. Piracio. Have you heard of them before? Maybe not. But they were the ones who opened the pathway for Chico Xavier to come to Spiritism. Beautiful. What does it mean? It means that we need to value more than ever. We need to value this teamwork effort. Many people think they are important if people see them, know of them. But to God, you are important. Not because other people know of you, but because you are important. All of us are. You are needed in this universe as much as anybody else. And if you're still disputing your importance, you need to do therapy. And the therapy with Jesus. Because I'm sorry to say, but shame on us to be disputing anything with anybody. For us spiritists, we shouldn't compete. We should only collaborate. There's no competition. Not in our families, not in our circle of acquaintances and friendships. Each person is unique, period. There's no competition. There is collaboration, togetherness. But we're going to pay a price to exemplify it. And that's what she says. She says to us, in the past, those first Christians, they were killed physically to bring Christianity and the truth forth, to bring it forth. We, the Spiritists, we're not going to be killed physically. But, so if you're thinking, oh my God, the coronavirus, no. Very likely you're going to stay here for a while and you're going to be requested in your skills and your tasks the days are not over for us. But the battle is with the monsters of the shadow in our hearts. They declare hidden war to our superior idealism. Yes, it's when I look at myself in the mirror and say, who am I to say these things? I still have so many flaws. It's that inner doubt that I cultivate, plugged in by the spirits who come and gang up on us. Say, yeah, you. Or before family members are used as instruments against our ideals, we have these monsters inside of us. Oh, but people don't give me a chance to show how great I am. But why should they? If you don't give yourself a chance to show how great you are, you're expecting others to validate you? Yesterday in the program, we were discovering our incoherences. And today, we continue doing this inner search, inner journey, evaluating our inner monsters. Now it's deeper than that. It's not the incoherence per se. It's mostly like a great impediment. You don't need to do top 3, because if we find one in the next 24 hours, what is a major monster of shadow that is nestling in our hearts, that is battling against the ideals, the superior ideals of life? What is it? We have 24 hours to discover. And when we do, what do? We're going to work on our essential program in the struggle of self-improvement, so that the world around us may be perfected. I know we've been saying this, but we're going to repeat for all of us. You're home. You can't work. Can't do anything else. Well, read a book. Perfect your language skills for all of us, even if you are born in the country where you're living. Because we think only immigrants need to polish their linguistic skills. I'm going to tell you, any one of us need to improve our vocabulary, our linguistic skills, our grammar, revisit our grammar. All of us, whether you're immigrant or not. Because there's always another level of expressing ourselves, and the better we know how to express ourselves, the better it is for us. After all, the wing of to fly, wisdom and love, require that we polish our knowledge. Don't settle for the minimum. Push yourself. The coronavirus, for a group of people, is asking these people to boost the knowledge that they have. For other people, it's about expiation. You can't wish that you're going to do what others are doing. The doctors that are helping the patients, they need it for their own redemption. If you are not there, your task is different. But don't feel you're doing nothing, because you need to push your knowledge, your inner journey, like I do too. It's about doing more meditation, more visualizations if you can. And for those like myself who have children at home, husband and have a professional life all inside of the house. It's about learning how to jiggle off all of this in harmony, which is a challenge, without losing ourselves. So many different challenges, but what is important is to address what is inside of us. And she says, we cannot betray the greatness of the mandate entrusted to us, meaning we will be challenged by the inner monsters, but we cannot stop doing the good because of what they are doing. So she says, let us remember that what we do today is going to reflect tomorrow. Let us remain united in the crusade against death. That's why she calls us Spirit Scouts. We don't want to treat death as a dead end. Death is a beautiful thing if we reached it without pushing ourselves to death, without suicide. Let us remain united in the crusade against death, striving so that humanity understands that love and justice rule life in the universe. Think about Chico Xavier. Probably if you met him when he was a teenager, a beginner in Spiritism, you would probably not give him much importance. Maybe when he came up on 1971 to the Brazilian TV in public, maybe we wouldn't give him importance either. But today, we go back and we acknowledge his faithfulness to the works, to the task, in the smallness that was just apparent. Chico Xavier is giving us life to date. He is being the Spiritist scout. Though he discarnated, he's more vivid in us than before. Through his works and the works that he encouraged in people, we have material for lives to come. So let us meditate on this and pray. Pray to God for this resilience and endurance of faith towards the inner monsters. Let us raise our thoughts to the Creator and say, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here, for Chico Xavier's works, for this message by Célia Xavier, and for learning that life is so beautiful and goes on, that we are in this constant challenge, almost like a treasure hunt of the good. May we seek the good more than ever and share in our smiles, in our attitude of faith, the opportunity of growing strong and march towards the progress of us all. Thank you, God. And so be it. Thank you, dear friends, for this moment. Thank you for the opportunity of being together, revisiting another message that comes to us as true proposal for transformation and empowerment. A big hug to you. And until tomorrow, here at Kardec Radio, always nourishing our souls. Thank you.